Welcome back to my channel. My name is Marilisa and this is the Girl Meets Yarn episode 14 and I hope there's no spillage. I just had a salad, so no. Okay, so today is January 14th, 2019. Happy New Year, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, happy Hanukkah. It's glad that it's January, is halfway through the month and it's 1:31. I've been recording this episode since 11 a.m. and my battery decided to die on me, and what we can do, just hold it until it charges. I had lovely salad. If you want to see it, go to my Instagram. I didn't put the recipe, not yet. Anyway, so I'm coming to you guys from sunny Seattle. It's beautiful today and I am so sad that I spent the whole entire day pretty much here trying to record this podcast, but it's gonna happen today. Anyway, yeah, so if you want to find me on Instagram, my handler is Mablu_123 or at Ravelry at Marilisa Lugo. You can always DM me on Instagram. It's the best way to communicate with me. I love Instagram if you don't know, and my head is flowing. Anyway, so you guys, love my lipsticks always, and I have to say, out of the updates that I have, I'm glad to say that I am an empty nester. Stella finally moved to campus. She is in Bellingham. She is in Western Washington University, and I raided her entire room and I found this beautiful lipstick by Bite, and it's on the color Cashew and is beautiful. So everything that she left behind is mine now. Anyway, so yeah, and I'm using her foundation. She gave me this foundation. It's by Estee Lauder, and it's a double wear, and I think it's too light for me, but anyway, you know, I'm a ghost. Anyway, so Vlogmas happens. I think last time I podcasted, we were kind of like in the first week of Vlogmas, and I have to say that was a lot, but I pushed through. I said I was going to do it and I did, and I even took you guys a little bit further than the 25th, and I vlogged, or I documented my trip to Puerto Rico. So if you want to know a little bit more about some other countries besides the United States, if you're here, go ahead and check it out. Okay, so there is 2 elephants in the room. There is the Tecumseh. We're going to talk about that just a little bit because I have talked a lot about it. But here's my llama. I got this llama yesterday from Target, and I have to say I love it. It's so cute, and I'm going to decorate my llama, and I am going to put this on my new craft room, which is, as we know, Stella's old room. Anyway, so I'm going to put pom-poms in, whatever, and if you are looking for a basket and you want a sturdy one, this is framed, wired in wire legs, wired kind of like detail neck. Go ahead and run to your Target and go get it, because I wanted like 2 or 3 and I couldn't find them, so I just got the one that they had. Anyway, so that's gonna be on, we should name it and just put shit on it. Oh, anyway, so I'm glad you guys are back. Yeah, Puerto Rico and Vlogmas happened. Stella moved out, and yeah, that's it. nothing else to record. You know, I'm very public with what I do, so if you want to know anything, just go into my Instagram. Anyway, so I think on my Instagram I talk about this book, and Jackie from the Caddy Jacks podcast gave this book to me. She gifted this book to me, and I love it, and we're doing it together. And I love it because it has a little bit of a poem or paragraph, and then the author kind of like give his perspective on what we're going to be talking, you know, based on that poem. And then he makes you or he suggests a meditation for you. And I love waking up really early, see the sunrise, and while I am doing my meditation, and I know it sounds very woo-woo, but what perfect way to start your day with meditation, and then seeing the sunshine, right? The sun coming out, and just knowing that every single day is a day for you to decide what you're gonna do with it. You're gonna be good, are you gonna do this, or are you gonna do anything? You decide every single day. So today is all about the life of experience, and to give you a little bit of the meditation, I'm gonna read it really, I will try to intonate really well. It says, bring into view a recent moment of disappointment. Was there a particular outcome or response you were secretly hoping for? Rather than focusing on the fact that what you hoped for didn't happen, I'm like, okay, try to understand what is at the heart of what you were hoping for. Was it being heard, being accepted, being loved, being seen as someone of value, or simply the need to be held? Accepting this disappointment, try to understand what you received from the life of experience. I will have to say, this book, given the fact that the recent days have been a little bit tumultuous for the knitting community, this book have kept me grounded. And I have to say, there's a lot of things that have been said. Me being a Latina, you know, I can give you tons of experiences that I have that I've been mistreated. But, you know, I think it's very important that we hear what people have to say, even though the communication is a little bit charged, right? And listen and hold space. With that said, some of us will love to hold space for you and listen to you without giving anything back. Not because we don't believe what you said is true, but it's just because we don't have anything to add. You know, sometimes a communication is between two people, but in communication you have to talk and you have to listen. Both have to happen. So I want to say that I am listening. I have to say that I am part of, you know, what's being impacted, and I don't let that let me down. And like says today, you know, I'm being heard, I'm being disappointed, what I wanted it, didn't want it. Sometimes you have to sit on over things that are uncomfortable and feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel anger, you know. What I don't like is that sometimes, you know, I read sometimes that one time that the conversation has 3 steps or 3 colors, right? Green is when you're very present, there's no emotion, you're like talking, and we both parties are listening and they're present and they're totally understanding what each other are saying. There is the yellow communication where, you know, you're still present, but there's a little bit of charge there, a little bit of anger, a little bit of feelings in there. And there's the red one where somebody's screaming and the other one is not listening. So let's keep this conversation that are happening in the green, maybe on the yellow. Let's not go to the red. I have seen a lot of red. And I want to say that even though, you know, I've seen a lot of like finger pointing, like white privilege and people of color, you know, discrimination have no color. I've seen it in both sides. Even when I have read a lot of things that are very important, there's a lot of finger pointing, and when you use the you instead of the we, you lost half of your you're half of your audience, because some people are going to be behind you and then some people will not, so they're not included. And that too, you know, my kids have suffered tremendously, my son, to be very honest, about, you know, his color, skin color, which is the most beautiful skin color ever. And you know, I always taught him that humanity has no color, right? You have to treat people like a human being, you know, like you want to be treated. The same with empathy, you know, try everybody with empathy, and just be compassionate. Compassionate has no color. And the same with love. Love has no color. So let's keep this conversation green, full of compassion and full of love and full of empathy. Okay, we can do it. We can push through whatever is happening, and instead of losing people, we want to gain people. We want to blur those lines of just separation and grouping. Okay, I think the knitters are so great that I think they're in a state of meditation every time they sit down and they knit. They don't know it, and you can get a lot from a knitter. So let's go, knitters. Let's unite. Let's be one. Enough of super difficult conversations, and let's talk about my finished object. Okay, so the first one is the Tecumseh, and it's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I started this pattern, I think it was in November. I don't remember very well, but I talked extensively for 2 podcasts about it. And I make the story that I found this yarn in Told, and it was 50% off. The yarn were $8, and I got it for $4. I got 7 of the black, and then I got the pink. Then I ordered some extra, which I totally needed, in this I don't remember the website, but in a website, and I found the yarn here. So I was just like, I feel like the worst person ever, because I put this yarn on a plane and crossed pretty much the globe just to get here when I had it here already. So I'm so sorry, I apologize. Anyway, so I finished this one, I think 2 or 3 days after I podcast. I was pretty much halfway through a sleeve, and the sleeves are super short. I didn't do any alterations on sleeves. Only alteration that I did, I used the size 4, I believe, US needle. I used Addie's for the cuff, because I think she doesn't suggest a change of needle. You just go with the needle that you have. And I have to say, I do love it. I wore it once, and I have to say, I had somebody say that they didn't buy a yarn because I suggested it was too rough. And I think I changed all my face cleaning routine to sensitive, because I think I'm really sensitive, and I found that this yarn was a little scratchy on my skin. But then again, everything is scratchy lately, so then again, don't take too much in consideration when I said that something's scratchy, because I have sensitive skin for sure. Ugh. Okay, so yes, finish this one up. This one is Stella's sweater. I'm gonna give this one to her. She used it once. I wore it once, one time only, and then she wore it after. Well, she asked me to use it, and when she left, she didn't have the sweater on, so I went to her room and she had it on the floor. Okay, and Mimi was on it. She was lying on it. I'm like, what the, you know what I mean? I call her and I bitch at her, because I'm just like, why will you do that? Anyway, so next day she asked for it and she wore it, and then she took this entire portion on her jeans. But then she stayed wherever she was, and she arrived the next day with the sweater. So she slept on the sweater. It's really stinky. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wash it for her, and I'm going to give it to her, and she can use it in Bellingham, where she's at, which is a little bit colder than here. Anyway, besides that, I have to say, if I'm gonna do it again, I would definitely do kind of like a similar combination. I really like it. It's really pretty, is really simple. So if you're looking for a colorwork sweater and you don't know how to start, I think this will be one to start on because it's really easy. Colorwork, you never use more than 2 yarns at the same time, you know, like, sorry, 3 colors at the same time, and you just use one, drop it. Even though you don't have any increases while you're on the colorwork, so there's, you know, it's really straightforward. Anyway, so if you're looking for a beginner colorwork sweater, this definitely will be yours. And I never ever yeah, I'll cut that up. Anyway, so yes, and then besides that, I have 2 other hats that I finished from Caitlin Hunter, and I'm trying to find the picture of it, and I'm going to show you one. Why? Oh, okay, sorry. I did the deer hat by Caitlin Hunter, and I did 2. I did this combo combination. I'll put the picture here. I did the ecru with the big colorwork made in black and some accents in gray, and then I swatch it, sorry, and I did black, gray, black, white, and gray. And I say if I'm gonna do it again, I will definitely keep it light because it was really fun to make, and it was really easy to make. So if you're looking for probably next year, super easy hats, this will be one for you to start now. And use DK weight yarn, and it doesn't use a lot. So if you have those stranded, you know, little balls of DK weight yarn that you want to use and you want to stash bust out, this will be the perfect hat. And you know, it's colorwork, so it looks fancy already. It's fancy. I got your I love you this much. I got you a colorworks hat. When in theory, it's not that hard. It's not. Anyway, so yeah, those are my 3 ZFOs, and I have 2 sewing ones, but I'm going to talk about those later. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about works in progress. I know some of you will be mad for the fact that I show this bag in here, but like I said, I believe in forgiveness, and I think although her words were the Karen Templar, although her words were misused and she did a very kind of like insensitive post, I still love her shit, and I love this bag. I got this bag and you will see on my blog mask, I was obnoxious of me. I got people unsubscribe to me because I got a bag. And you know, I have read about white supremacy or white privilege bags, and this will be one. I don't think it's a white privilege bag. I think this bag is worth what is price, because this bag is made in the USA. So you know, you want things that are made in the USA, but you don't want to pay for the price of it, you know. Yeah, it's made in the USA. Anyway, so I love this bag, and you can say see I stain it, so I take this bag everywhere. And here is my first whip, and is the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter, and I am on the colorwork part. Why is that focusing? There you go. So I took this one to Puerto Rico, and I have to say it was not the most enjoyable knit, but I pushed through. So I'm using the Cordelia colorway from Tuscan Knit. There you go. And it's kind of like a beigey color with a little bit of kind of like an old rose situation, speckles of gray, and there's some like really cool speckles. And then I'm using this one. This is the Cumbria by Le Fiber. There you go. And this is the color Hadrian's Wall, or is that wall that divides, I think it's in Cumbria, I don't remember. And then I use this color. So this is the same one, the sweater that I have. I have the wool and honey today, just for you guys today. And I have my body positivity beautiful earrings from a local Seattle jewelry maker. And this is my combination. And I have to say, I love it. It's so pretty. So at first I started doing the big colorwork part with this, and I love that, but I don't have a lot, and I have a lot of this, and I still have the sleeves. The sleeves have a lot of colorwork, so I went ahead and I switched it, and I have to say I love it. I'm using a US size needle 4. I'm using the Chiago ones, and yeah, everything is in size 4. I'm doing a size small, and if I'm going to do this again, I will not do this like it's set. So she has a knit front and back. You do the cable, and then you go here and you do the knit front and back. So if you see, you have kind of like a straight stitch, and then you have the bumps on this side. But on this side, you have the bumps right here, and you have a complete different kind of situation going on. So I went ahead and I decided that I was going to fix it, and I was just going to do the knit front and back one stitch before I have this pearl bump in my, just my cable started it. But right now, if I'm very honest, I don't like neither. So if I'm gonna do this again, or if I was you, I will make one left, make one right, and then you will not have that duality. To be honest, I'm gonna have my hair on it, so it's not gonna be shown. And I'm a little worried that it's gonna be too small for me. If not, there's always Stella. So she asked you to do an inch after the sleeve separation, and then you just start with your color work. I did 2 inches, and with that, it's still too small. So I think gaze watching was the way to go. I didn't do it, so if it doesn't work, Stella, you get another sweater. So yeah, living in this bag. I love this bag. I took this bag everywhere. I take this bag everywhere right now, so I am so excited. And thank you, Karen, for that. Don't go and subscribe to me, because, you know, whatever, do whatever you want. Anyway, so the next yeah, that is from Kelly Hunter. And then the next one is The Poet by Sarah Nordlock. Sari Nordlock. Okay, and if you can remember, I don't have a lot of progress on this sweater. Pretty much I haven't touched it since I started, and it's because I went on vacation and I didn't want to be following a chart. You definitely have to follow a chart here. So I just put this one on hold, and this one I think is more like a late spring or spring sweater. So I'm just putting this one on hold. I didn't want to not talk about it, but I'm just gonna put this one on hold just for a little bit. But I love it. It's not gonna be my birthday sweater. Okay. So I also talk about the Chrysocolla, and this one, I don't remember, is by Tatiana Scuzzi, and look at that, beautiful. Why I cannot see it? There you go. Look at that beautiful model. So there you go. So it's I think this is Aran. Wait. Yes, it's Aran heavy worsted weight, and I tried worsted, didn't work. I tried a heavy worsted, it didn't work. So I went ahead and I got the yarn that it calls for, and I talked about this last time, the Quest & Co. Osprey in the color Barolo. And I did my swatch. I did get swatch with it. And this is over from the chart A, and you have, I don't know, like 5 charts. So really excited. I love this color. I think it's going to be great color for my wardrobe. And I started to do it on the round. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do it on the round, and it's gonna be great. And when I started, I couldn't figure it out, and it's because everything that is happening is fun, is happening on the right side, and then when you go to the wrong side, it's kind of boring. So if you're just doing everything, like, it was a lot. If you're going on the right all the time, you have to swap the shorts. That makes sense. And then it's making it more difficult than if I'm just going to do the wrong side. It's way easier to this way, I think. Anyway, but maybe it's my mind. So I went ahead and I ripped it. I was like pretty much over here with the both sides, but I went ahead and I ripped it and I did it again. And here is, I think I'm on row 10, where everything is already happening. You have all the cables start to twist, and there's a bunch of stuff happening. And I have to say, I am in love. I started this on Thursday. I think I worked like for 3-4 hours, and this is the progress that I have. So I think this is gonna go super fast. And I hope this is, see, if not for my birthday, it's going to be for Valentine's, because my birthday is 12 days away, okay? So, super excited about this. And then again, this is more kind of like a shorter, you have to sit down and just look at it. So, I've been doing a lot of, I don't know, everything but sitting and doing this. So maybe this week I will take some time and do that. And I have to say, I love the Chrysocolla. So I already talked about 3, and I'm going to talk about the last one. And it's the Notorious RBG. And I have not talked about this pattern, but Jackie from the Caddy Jacks podcast, she brought this to my attention, and of course I was just like, I want to do it. And she's going to do a knit along, although she's finished her sweater already. I'm like, okay, you're supposed to knit along with us, not knit and look at us and be like, you knit. No. Okay, so I love you. You just, Jackie, you just knit so fast. We cannot keep up. Okay, so the Notorious RBG, here is an illustration about it, and I probably will post a picture of it because this is not making any sense. And it's, I wanted to, you know me, read the description. The RBG sweater is inspired by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I wanted to find a way to honor the important work she has done and continues to do as a Supreme Court Justice, while also paying homage to her amazing color collection. My hope is that this sweater will endow the wearer with the strength, perseverance, gravitas, and integrity we so rightfully associate with the Notorious RBG. And look at her stance. She's the boss babe. Anyway, I was like, yes, I'm going to do this one right away, and I got the yarn. I have to say, this sweater looks very intimidating, and I have to say that you may be right, it's a cropped top sweater. However, I found that I'm in love with high-waisted jeans, and I urge everybody to go right now and get yourself some high-waisted jeans. There are some rises difference on them, okay? I cannot do 10 inches. I can only do 9 inches. So try them and see if you can wear them without being just uncomfortable, because the 10 ones really, they're really uncomfortable. They dig into my belly button. Nothing, nobody touched my belly button. Anyway, so I noticed she I'm already doing some alterations. So went ahead and I got my yarn at Love Knitting. I know this is mass produced, sorry, yarn, and this is the Ultra Alpaca by Berocco, and this is the yarn that she used. I didn't want to venture too much. I went ahead and got the yarn. I got 6 of this, 1 of this. For my size, which is a small, it asked for 5, but I'm gonna do a little bit a longer sweater. So I went ahead and I got a new one, another one. So I am here is pretty much a black canvas right now. There's nothing into it. I'm using I got gauge. Let me show you the gauge. So I got gauge. It asked for 18.5 by 24 rows. So I got gauge with the size US 8 needle, and I'm using some Addies. And here we are. She suggests going down 2 needle sizes for the rib. What I didn't do that. I just went ahead with the size 8 just because I don't want it to be cinching too much on my waist. You know what happened with the no frill sweater? We're not doing that ever again. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and she asked for you to knit from hem to where you're going to connect the sleeves to knit 7, I think it's 7.5 inches. Hold on, 7.5 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to 7 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do 10. And because I didn't have that cinching on the hips, I think it's gonna be looking kind of like a roby kind of situation, you know, which is a little bit wider, and I'm going to block it. So we have kind of like this A-line situation, although it's not gonna be pretty much that, but you know what I mean. So I'm gonna go to 10 inches and I'm going to then do the sleeves and just go in the round and then do the color. So that way I'm gonna have a little bit of length and I'm going to have a little bit of what else, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. This one is a worsted weight yarn, so right now I think I need a little bit more of the heaviest sweaters than the lightweight. So I definitely gonna finish mine or dish cloth, but I'm going to put a lot of effort into whenever, like I went to the movie theater yesterday and I was knitting without looking. I was so proud. Anyway, but then the guy behind us was like doing the and I think because I was like, you know, doing the needles. Anyway, so yeah, super excited about the Notorious. I want to wear it to go see the movie. The movie just started. I think it was like last Thursday. So like 2 weeks for it to finish, because you know after like 2 or 3 weeks they take it out. And I don't think that movie has been doing too well, because you know how it goes. Anyway, so yeah, that is all. Oh, and I have this one. I don't know if I talk about the thumb, but I did the thumb. And these are the Speedy Selby knitted by the Skinnier Knits. And here I am on the second cup, and I don't know what I did, but I have too many stitches right now, so I have to rip it off and start it again. And you know, when I have to rip something off, I get goosebumps and I don't like it, and I have you know, conversations with it, and we argue. So right now we are in our first fight, so I'm going to let it cool a little bit before I go ahead and do it. I have to say, last time I talked, I think it was here, and I finished this in no time, or did I don't know. Anyway, I did this in so fast, and I even thought that this was going to be kind of like a open thumb, and it was not. So I was just so excited. I was just like, ah, I have a thumb, a thumb. You know, I had this guy said to me one time, you need to articulate better because your English is very crappy. So thumb. Anyway, my thumb has something, and I don't know what it is, but we're not gonna stress about it, because whenever I'm picking Gringo's poop on our walks, it's not gonna be important. Oh my God, do you know what happened today? Okay, number one, Gringo. Okay, so I have to make this story really fast. I know it's out of the theme and you guys are gonna be like, what the fuck is she talking about? But I need to make this story. Okay, so I took Gringo to this guy very far away. I took you guys through Vlogmas, and I cried when I left Gringo. So the guy was sending us pictures, and I will put a picture up here. We were so sad that we didn't have Gringo, and then he would send these pictures and the freaking dog was smiling, okay, on the pictures, and we were like, what are ungrateful little asshole, you know, who is not even like, you know, there's no shame. He was like, he was in his element. He was like in winter camp. He was having so much fun. So we went to pick him up, and you know what he did? He didn't want to go with us. He wanted to stay with the guy. With the guy. Yes, you. Anyway, so you, ungrateful much. And then today, I took him to the run, and he went number 2 twice. And then I went to get some bread, and he decided to go again right in front of everybody on the bus stop where Carlos take his bus. And then I had the bread, everything, and I couldn't like pick, and he was I'm telling you, we are not in good terms today. We are, yeah, we're having a fight today. Gringo and I, we're not talking. Okay, so if you have not noticed, Not Knitting, my friend Anna started a podcast. And you've not seen that, go ahead and check it out because it's so different than the ones that we usually see. And I love her concept. I may steal it. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna steal your shit. Anyway, but she is doing great and amazing. Go check her out. And it was so funny because she was like, oh my God, it takes so much energy out of me to record, blah, blah, blah. And she have no idea. Yes, it takes a lot of energy to speak to a camera for no reason. Like, I've been talking to this camera since 11 a.m. I'm not kidding. Okay, I'm not kidding. And I am done with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of my blog for my sewing FO, my separate code, and we'll be back. Hi guys. How are you? It's been a hot minute since we had seen you. I am in my new Stella's guest room / craft room, and I just turn on the heater. Look at that cutie, she's lounging there, and I am setting up for my Sapporo code. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take you guys through the process. I'm not gonna do too much explaining of the pattern because if you want to do that, you just go ahead and buy it. But I'm going to go ahead on the sewing part and finishing and stuff like that. I read the instructions and they look really simple to like too simple. I'm a little worried because sometimes when I say, oh, it's so simple, then I mess it up. But I am so excited. I hope to be done. I had 2 big projects this week. I have the Sapporo code to be done, and then I want to start with the Persephone pants, the sailor pants. I sew the back too. So this is the back piece, it's a big piece, and then you have this flaps that is just like your shoulder, like your Wrangling shoulders kind of thing, situation going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and just open my seams and then iron it, press it, and after that I am going to, and I'm gonna check because I don't remember, but I am kind of almost there. So it's gonna be shoulders and sides, and I think after, I'm really worried about the lining because we have not been there yet, but I'm trying to not freak out about it. Okay, so I'm eating a little bit of popcorn, and you know, when the time I have that bag sound happening, this too, they know. Anyway, so here I am. This is the back of the neck. So this coat had some flaps, so you attach that part to both of the flaps. They were facing the front, and now I put pins all around the top of the neck. I'm gonna go ahead and stitch over here, and then I'm gonna stay stitch on whenever I'm done, facing or leaning toward the facing. Okay. So excited. Okay, so I attached the color, and I iron all the parts, and the coat wool outside part, it's done. So I'm gonna show it. So here we are. It's on the dress form, and I put the sleeves on the pockets, and right now it's looking really nice. I have to say there's some areas that I'm not 100% into it, because like in here I have like 1/8 of an inch variegation there. It didn't match perfectly, but besides that, you know, it's nothing that it's just so major that I need to redo. Here again, it was just like a little bit of nothing, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. There was like a curve there, so that's why I just it was just weird, you know, it's just weird. Anyway, so here I am. I have ironed the inside, and this is all gonna be lined, and I'm dreading the lining part because I don't like to work with lining. On the flesh. I have not pressed it. I have to get it professionally pressed, but here it is, and he's a little bit stylish right now. So I'm going to take the sleeves out, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. So a friend of mine, Joanna Essentials, got me into this coat. She did the small, medium, and I thought it was a little bit too big or oversized for me. So I went ahead and I did the extra small size. And I think for me it works tremendously because I don't want it to be too oversized. Okay, so I have big hips. So if I don't have a lot here and a lot here, and then it's super big, it's gonna be looking too frumpy. So I wanted something a little bit more tailored, so I went ahead and I did the smallest size. Okay, so I used an Italian wool. This is from Stitches here in Capitol Hill, and the same for this I think it's like a silky rayon I think lining. I have never in my life done something so wild, so hello, cut me some slack. And I have to say, if you are an experienced beginner to an intermediate sewist, this is the coat for you. It's really simple. The shapes that you're gonna cut are super weird. You're like, what is going on? But I will promise it will make sense, because the pockets are made with the fabric. So you're gonna have, if you're using a very warm fabric, it's going to keep your arms or your hands warm. It's really easy. I make a mistake, like I said, and I did both parts. I attached them at the same time, and it was in the wrong. I rip it very nicely, no problem. And the lining, I was a little bit worried about it, as you can tell, and it ended up being not that bad. You start with the color, and then you go to the hem, and then you are supposed to do the sleeves by hand. I didn't do them by hand. I did them the old-fashioned way with the sewing machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to wrong way. So what I did, you have this opening that you leave here. So what I did, I just cramp myself into it, stitch this with my sewing machine from here to here, and then I back it up and do it the other side, because I didn't want to do this by hand. I thought it was like too much to do by hand, and I didn't want it to be, I don't know, you know, like if I'm putting my hand, you know, I'm not too smooth about it, so I didn't want to be like and then ripping this attachment here. So I did it by my machine, with my machine, and I think it was really easy to make. This is just the same piece that you have on the outside. You have it here, and you have a special piece for here. I will have to say it looks amazing, and I love it. If I'm gonna say some things that I have to work, it will be on my attachment. So here it looks not, my mom will make me rip this off. I'm not kidding. She will make me rip it off. And the same here. So you see, it was a slight difference, but if I was going to do this for somebody, I will definitely not finish it up like that. That was, it's like 1/8 of an inch. For me, 1/8 of an inch is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and that will be all for today. Again, if you have any questions, you can always DM me through Instagram or through Ravelry, Marilisa Lugo _123, or Marilisa Lugo on Ravelry. Instagram was the first. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. I think I'm going to try to do a podcast every week, if not every 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure I'm accountable that this Monday is going to be my upload day. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.